name is Darlene. Welcome to Stand Strong, a fun, educational, inspirational, and motivational show about people overcoming life's obstacles. Hello, welcome to Stand Strong. I'm your host, Darlene Luff, and with me is my dear friend and co-host, Melissa. Hello again, Melissa.
Hello, everyone.
And if you would, today's show is going to be very fun and informative, and our topic today you will find to be very interesting. At this time, I'd like to bring attention to the slippers that I'm wearing in honor of our guest. These are the Parkinson's awareness symbol in honor of our guest today. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Tim and Lori Presinger.
Hi.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Tim, could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Tim Presinger. I've had Parkinson's, or a form of Parkinson's, actually, for roughly 5 years into it. I was diagnosed about a year ago, for sure, because there's many different variations. Mm-hmm. So it takes quite a while to really determine what exactly you have. When people hear Parkinson's, they think of Michael J. Fox, and it goes way beyond that, and there's different flavors, and it can be very difficult to exactly pinpoint which you have, because there are different treatments for different types.
What form do you have?
I have something called multiple systems atrophy, which, if you Google it, well, first off, you should never Google it. It's horrifying if you actually read about it.
Do not self-diagnose, right?
Yeah, one of the things my neurologist told me when he gave me the actual diagnosis, he says, now in this real strong Russian accent, don't go home and Google. And it's so true.
Googling can get you in a lot of trouble.
Don't Google. Because
okay, I'll drink to no Googling.
No Googling.
Do not Google.
No.
That is so funny. So, did you have different types of symptoms?
Yeah, it's a real insidious thing, particularly in the beginning. It starts very slowly. It creeps, and maybe even 6 years ago, I started getting different things happening to me. I started getting weak in the legs. I started getting a lot of muscle spasms. But in the past, I had a really bad industrial accident about 30 years ago, and I hurt my back. And then roughly 20 years ago, I got into a motorcycle accident and re-injured basically the same spot.
Goodness gracious.
So when it started, I kind of pushed it off as, well, I'm not young anymore, and probably it's getting, a little more involved in my life, the old injuries and things like that. But then odd things started happening, and after the family was on me for
I see he pointed directly at
you.
What it was is that he was going, and he'd be going, oh, my knee hurts, so I'll go for the knee, or I'll go for the back. And I looked at him and I said, why don't we just go and find out the whole? Why is everything happening? Instead of going for one symptom, tell the doctor everything that's happening and see if it's actually something else. And that's where we started.
Yeah, so I did that, and I had a great primary care physician that I had for many years, and he was the first one to say, you know what, I think there's something more to it than this. And he started sending me, I've had every test known to man done. And
I can imagine.
Yeah, different neurologists and things like that. And finally, after 2 or 3 neurologists, I ended up in Mass General. And I can't say enough about the neurology department there. They're brilliant. And so it's like my...
Shout out.
Yeah,
cheers to that.
Absolutely brilliant.
Definitely. Now, how long did it take? How long did you have to go through all these tests before they actually said this is what you have?
About
5 years.
Well, about 4 years.
4 years.
Because they've determined it recently, so it was going on for quite a while before that, before we could finally...
What did they think it was?
They started out thinking it was MS.
Because they mirror each other, don't they?
Yes, exactly. They look
really
exactly alike. And the doctors at Mass General, they even said that we know it's extremely frustrating for you, but sometimes the only thing we can do is to watch and see what doesn't start to fit, because they're almost identical in the beginning. A lot of the neurological things are very much the same early on, and then as time goes on, which could be years, they start to branch off, and then they can get a better idea.
Gotcha.
So a couple of years ago, they started leaning more. They ruled out the MS and decided that this looks like a Parkinsonian thing. And it's kind of a catch-all phrase. That there's Parkinsonian disorders that don't even have names. Wow. And they use it as kind of a catch bucket for everything that looks sort of like it, but we can't quite pinpoint this. But now, as more time has gone on, they said, yeah, we think it's MSA, but don't Google.
Don't Google. Don't Google.
Because MSA affects everything, and it's certain types are very, very fast progressing, and you'll get very sick very, very quickly, and often the outcome isn't very good. Right. The good news is that there's subtypes of the subtypes. So I've been reasonably stable for 3 years.
I'm going to cheer to that. Congratulations. Absolutely. That is
stable awesome. Is a good place to be.
Stable is a good place to be, especially with this.
Yes.
How has it changed your life? How has it affected your life?
Well, I mean, it certainly affected me. I can't work anymore, and I was one of the lucky people that loved what I'd done for a living. You know, I loved it.
What did you do?
I worked on military systems, optics, and things like that. I did the optics package on the Predator drones, and I worked on anti-missile warning systems on the Apache and the Black Hawk helicopters.
Wow!
But I was handling $10,000, $15,000 lenses. Well, now things tend, to fall out of my hands like pencils. Well, it's not so bad if a pencil hits the ground, but if a $15,000 lens hits the ground, the Army gets really irate, and they have guns. So I don't want the Army irate at me.
No.
Absolutely not, yes.
So after a while, it just became impossible, and I tried to tough it out and tough it out and tough it out. So I'm not working anymore, and that bothered me because I did like my job. I was an avid motorcycle rider. I was very involved in various motorcycle organizations for many years. My rides, I still get on the bike, to the horror of my neurologist, but now now instead of hours, it's minutes. I'll take, when I'm having a good day, I'll take a 10, 15-minute ride, stop, take a 10, 15-minute ride home, which is still, those 10, 15 minutes is better than 0 minutes. You do what you do.
Therapy.
I have to say, I really admire your strength to go through what you've gone through and have to somewhat adjust to your way of living, but not give up.
No, and it's like I tell people, I have Parkinson's, but I'm not Parkinson's.
Here, here.
Nice.
Here, here.
She's cheering again.
Yes, I am.
She likes to cheer.
I'm going to need some water.
It's a cheering kind of place.
It certainly is. We're celebrating.
We are celebrating.
Well, you can't let it define you.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm still me. I'm still the smart-mouthed punk that I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's just because you don't grow up.
Well, no, it's like I tell people, I got an 80-year-old body, a 25-year-old brain, and a 16-year-old mouth. And it doesn't always work out very well.
I bet you get yourself in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, not so much anymore because I can't fight back. But but there was, I had my day. But no, you do what you can, and you hang on as tight as possible, and you find alternatives.
Absolutely. How has, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
How has it affected you and the family with his diagnosis when you all found out exactly what he had?
Well, going through it, I was more of, I dealt with, before I met Tim, I had a brother that had polio.
Oh.
So I dealt with that. I had a mother who had MS. So I dealt with that. So when I seen the symptoms of him and the things happening, that's when we decided to go. And he'd be like coming to me going, oh my God, this is happening, this is happening. I'm like, yeah, okay. And he'd be like, how can you be so cold? It's like, I'm not cold. It's just something I've already seen, and it's nothing to worry about. So it's like, you're just going to deal with it, and let's get on, and you're going to feel something new tomorrow.
Yeah, so she was the tough...
Yeah, and there were times like,
tough one.
Sure, it's nothing for you to worry about. Your foot's not stuck to the floor.
But it's like I've seen it, I've already lived it, so having to go through it again, the only difference is now is we moved out of Beverly, out in Orange, because it's easier for Tim out there.
Right,
The cluster of Beverly and the city type really got to him. So being out in the country is a lot easier. We don't plan things. I can't say, okay, there's a concert next weekend, I'm going to buy tickets and go. Because he could wake up that morning and say, I don't
have a bad day.
Yeah, there are some days when I'm virtually immobile.
Right.
Yeah.
Other days, if you were to look at me, you'd not know that there was anything wrong. You know, you get really good at sucking it in and covering it up.
Now, in the conversations that we had on the telephone when we invited you to be a guest, there's something very special along with your family and your wife that has kept you going. Would you pull up photo number 1, please? Could you tell our viewers about this?
Yeah, we after I was sick for a while, we needed to find something to replace some of the things that I don't do or can't do. And something that's going to get me up and moving, because the doctors always said the more I move, the longer I'm going to move.
Absolutely, I agree.
I've always been an animal person, dog fanatic. And we went out and we got a puppy. We got an American Bulldog puppy.
He's beautiful. What is his name?
His name is Rebel.
Rebel.
He is you know, I'm sorry, he's my dog, but he's the perfect dog. And we got him at 9 weeks. We got him from a great breeder out in Minnesota who was a friend of ours. And he came to us crate trained already. At 9 weeks, he was crate trained.
Wow.
And then we did the rest of the...
9 weeks?
Yeah, he's just
That's amazing.
And we've bonded like you would not believe. He knows when I'm having a bad day. He's Velcroed to my leg.
No, you shared a story with me on the telephone about one particular situation. Would you share with our viewers that?
Yeah, sure. One of the symptoms, one of the less pleasant, not that any of them are pleasant, but one of the less pleasant of the symptoms is I'll get really bad muscle spasms suddenly up my ribs and around my middle here. And sometimes they'll drop me to my knees because they come on really, really quick. It's like getting a bear hug. And I was walking across the living room floor, and I got one, and I went down on all fours, and my head was more or less touching the floor. Well, Rebel jumps off the couch.
And I'm thinking he's going to lick his face. Yeah. Thinking Daddy's on all fours. He's going to get
ready to
play.
Because I look like a dog ready to play. My butt's in the air, my head's on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? So he's thinking, But instead what he does, he pushes his head under my face into my chest, and he lifts up and pushes back. So he sits me up.
Oh,
and then,
wow.
It gets better. And then he turns himself to me, and he stands still, and I use his hind quarters for leverage as I pick myself up again.
Wow.
And he is not a service dog. He was never taught to do this.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And he's done it time and time again. It's by instinct. He knows what the old man needs.
Wow,
and,
that's amazing.
He's just amazing. So he keeps me going. And if I'm having a bad day, he'll side up next to me and lay his head on the lap, and we'll watch TV together.
Can you actually bring up picture number 2? Speaking of that, because this is this is a cutie.
He's an 86-pound lap dog.
Now
these guys.
Oh, there he is. He's so cute.
Now these guys are supposed to be. You know, they have the reputation of being ferocious and being aggressive and being this and the biggest baby ever
in the world
ever.
Yep.
You know, he's afraid of balloons. He's afraid of boxes. If something strange happens, he jumps on my lap. He's not protecting me.
Right, he wants you to protect him.
Yeah, just in case that balloon heads towards him, he wants the old man to intervene and to stop.
Because balloons can be dangerous.
They can be
dogs.
tough.
They can be.
You know, you never know when one's going to pop. I mean, if one ever popped, he went to smell a cricket last summer, and the cricket jumped and hit his nose, and he almost backed up through his own butt trying to get away from the thing.
Couldn't move away fast enough.
But it's a great thing because, you know, he's actually the typical American Bulldog. It's not the public persona, but he is really what this breed is about and why I love them so much.
He seems to be so gentle.
Well, we just got a cat.
Oh, yes, I've been following that, yes.
He follows the cat around, you know, licking the cat's ears and the cat siding up against them and rubbing.
It only took us 2 weeks to get them to like each other.
Took us 2 weeks, and they're best friends.
Nice,
you know?
Nice.
So he's just been a ridiculous help.
Now, is there an organization? There's something that you've gotten very involved in. Would you share that with us?
Yeah, there's a Facebook group called American Bulldog, singular, not plural. There's many different American Bulldog groups out there, but this one is American Bulldog, and we have over 16,000 members around the world.
Oh my goodness!
I was asked if I would be a administrator. One of the administrators. With that many people, you need quite a number.
Oh, that's amazing.
Quite a number of administrators, because we are worldwide, and a fair number, quite a few actually, of the members are in Europe, England in particular, England, Scotland, all through Europe, and Australia, all through the United States.
Oh, wow.
And I have met the greatest group of people in this group. I mean, they're so supportive, and it's not just about the dog, it's really about each other. I mean, I've made really, really what I consider close friends, all through the UK, in Australia, all through the United States. And it takes up a lot of the empty spaces. I mean, we don't talk much in the day anymore because I always got my face buried in the Kindle.
But I'm also, when you ask about the changes and stuff, I used to work days. Come to the opportunity at work for me to go third shift, which is better because Tim's at home sleeping
while
I'm at work. I'm at home sleeping, but he has taught Rebel to go in to wake me up. So if he ever falls and needs me, all he has to do is say, Rebel, go wake Mama, and Rebel will jump up on the bed and kiss me until I wake up.
They're so smart.
He made the training easy.
Even though I'm sleeping, I'm still home during the day for him when he has his most difficulties.
Yes.
But he really did. He made the training easy. He's just so smart. And one of my other dogs was a deaf Rottweiler, and if you can train a deaf dog, you can train anything.
He was deaf?
He was deaf. Yeah.
Wow.
How did he hear the?
He didn't.
How did how did he understand?
It means
sign language?
He said what?
Really?
He said what a lot.
What?
Oh my gosh!
No, we
so funny.
didn't know. We didn't know that he was deaf, and he wouldn't. I could not get him to answer to his name. I couldn't get him to stop eating the entertainment center. I was going out of my mind. And then he got an ear infection, and I brought him to the vet, and the vet took a look, and she said, your dog is deaf. And I said, no, but that just answered everything. So once we knew that, we approached it a little bit differently.
I know it's not me.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to teach the dog sign language?
No, it was remarkably easy because once I was able to make that first breakthrough, and he started to understand that hands were how I were going to communicate, it came really quick. Because dogs learn better actually through visual cues than verbal anyway. Naturally they do.
So don't I.
Yeah. So when my dad would hit me, when my dad smacked me in the back of the head, I knew I was doing something wrong. He could yell at me for a few minutes before that. I was like,
You back to the Parkinsons. I actually had a client. I used to work with the elderly, and I had a client who had Parkinson's, and I don't know exactly which part of Parkinson's he's had, because I know that there's a broad spectrum of it.
Wide gamut,
and he didn't look as good as you do, and they actually were giving him some experimental drugs at the time. This was probably 3-4 years ago. My question to you is there anything that they can give you to, I know there's no cure for it, but is there anything out there that the FDA has approved, that they haven't approved, that maybe we can push forward?
For this particular flavor, as of right now, no. They tried a drug on me, which is usually quite effective for your more typical Parkinson's. And they kept me on it for a few months. And it was actually part of the diagnostic process, because if it helped me, they were looking at the right thing.
Okay.
If it didn't do anything whatsoever, then they're going to have to look somewhere else. Well, the good news was that I did get a little bit of more freer movement. The bad news is that it made me pass out all the time.
Shoot!
which is one of the known side effects of this particular drug. In fact,
it's also a problem he has.
But
with
I have
the Parkinson's.
anyway.
So between the normal passing out,
it
was adding to it. So instead of maybe once or twice a month, he was doing it 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So
Oh
once
my
the
goodness.
neurologist got wind of that, he was like, "No, I got to take you off." So we got into this raving argument over the phone. I said, "Yeah, but I can move."
Yeah.
And he said, "You can hit your head and die."
Right.
You know, so
Right.
when I kind of thought about it, and plus he wasn't going to write any more scripts, yeah, I got off it.
Yeah.
But this particular type with MSA, it's much harder to treat. They can throw some things at the symptoms, but they're Band-Aids.
Right.
And my neurologist takes more of a holistic approach to it, which I
Okay.
really actually like.
Yep.
You know, he told me that, he says, you know, I'm not going to throw a lot of drugs at you that could help with the muscle spasms, which might help with your balance, which might help with this or that, because the side effects on some of them are worse than what they're
Yes.
actually fixing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as
Yep.
long as you can go without, which is really what I wanted to do anyway.
Right.
So really for me right now, the best thing for me to do is to just try to move as often as I possibly can.
Right.
That's
And
wonderful.
I typically pay for it later, but you kind of got to balance, you know, say, well, this is really going to be bad later, but I'm having a really good time now.
Really good time.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like a night out drinking. You know,
Have you-
Right.
it's really fun, but you know you're going to pay for it, but you do
Yeah.
it anyway.
Have you read the story, Spoon Theory?
No.
No.
This is what you can Google.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
Google
so
this.
okay to
Okay to Google.
Oh,
theory or theory?
Spoon Theory.
Theory.
It's about
theory.
this young lady that has lupus. And her girlfriend are out having dinner. And her girlfriend asked her, "What does it feel like for you to have lupus?" And the girl got up in the restaurant and ran around and grabbed all the spoons she could find and handed them to her girlfriend. And her girlfriend's like, "Oh, this is cool. Can I have some more?" And she says, "No." And her girlfriend asked her, "What do you do when you get up in the morning?" And the girl goes, "Oh, I get up out of bed, I do this." She goes,
Takes
takes
a spoon.
She goes, "I have to think about opening my eyes. That takes energy.
That takes a spoon.
Wow.
That's a spoon.
Right.
And when you're
So,
out of spoons,
spoons.
you get no more.
No
Right.
more for the day. That's
Right.
it. You're done."
You're done.
Wow.
You're done
So
for the day.
Tim always goes by. I ask him, "How you doing?" "I got one spoon.
I got one more
left."
spoon left. Or
Wow.
I'll text message my daughter. I was like, "Can I borrow? You got a spoon I can borrow?"
My daughter has.
Oh, I really have to commend you on your sense of humor.
Humor,
that,
yes,
that
very
you're,
good.
you're laughing
You know
about it.
Sorry.
And it's just it's a beautiful thing.
It is
'cause some
so
people
funny.
would.
You know what? You got choices.
You
I mean,
do.
I
You
can't.
do.
I got this. I'm going
agree.
to have this. It's not going anyplace.
But it's not going to have you.
But it's not going to have me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's how you face it. I mean, I could curl into a fetal position and woe is me, and not
Right.
want to leave my house, and not
Right.
want to talk about it. I mean, I don't mind talking about it because
Right.
it's nothing to be worried about.
Thank you
nothing to be
very much for
nothing
sharing.
to be ashamed of. I mean, you know, these
Right.
things happen. It's
They
called
do.
life.
They do.
And I completely forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, so
Your personality.
oh yeah. So you have to, you got to laugh. And one night Lori made dinner. Not that she just makes dinner one night, but this particular night she made dinner. And,
Oh, that's good to know.
and I remember that
Every night.
and I
it
understand
was
she's a really good cook, by the
unbelievable.
way, too.
I didn't.
so-
I don't look like this on my own. Let me tell you. So she made chicken, peas, and mashed potatoes. Right. Well, she hears me laughing from the kitchen, and she yells out, "What the heck are you laughing at?" And I was like, "Come here and look at this." Well, it looked like a Three Stooges skit because the days of eating peas with a fork are over. Because I'd scoop them up on the fork, and by the time I got them to my mouth, it looked like green buckshot flying around the room. So I had to kind of flip them into the mashed potatoes because it wouldn't fall out of the mashed potatoes, and the mashed potatoes wouldn't fly out of the fork. So you learn to adapt.
Adapt and adjust and overcome.
You know, so yeah. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
no more peas and forks anymore.
I would like to ask you if there's a viewer out there, someone out there watching who may be struggling with something similar as to you, what's your advice to them?
Don't give up. Don't give up. I mean, medically, you don't know what's coming tomorrow.
Right.
They have a lot of money invested into the research for these diseases. You know.
Right.
All of the neuromuscular disorders, all of them. There's a lot of money in there, and they're doing really, really good things. And there's new drugs coming up almost monthly. So don't give up, don't quit, and don't sit on your butt and feel bad for yourself.
Oh, here. That is an
I
I
agree.
drink
That's
too.
a big one.
That is
yes.
absolutely.
Yes, I
Thank
agree.
you.
I
You know, we would like to present you with a thank you gift. This is
Oh, thank you.
That's sweet.
these are our T-shirts with our logos on them, and it's a way of us saying thank you. We appreciate
Oh,
you,
thank you.
joining us here
Oh, thank
today. And it's your story is incredible.
Oh, thanks.
And your dog is wonderful.
He's awesome.
I mean, he's amazing. Could you pull up photo number 3? I mean, it's amazing that
That's our boy.
he is. There he is. He's wonderful, and he, like your family, is helping you get through what you need to
Oh,
get
I have
through.
amazing support, and that's what makes this all doable.
That's wonderful.
From so many different directions too.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So yeah, I
It's-
mean, I consider myself a lucky guy.
Oh, you're very lucky.
Good for you.
And you
You
know what?
are.
We're very lucky that we had you both on
Absolutely.
as guests.
Oh,
Absolutely.
And the
pleasure,
strength
and,
that you show, stand strong. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on our show to
thank
share
you.
your stories and how you've overcome it. And hopefully, not hopefully, I know that you've touched at least one person viewing our show
you
today.
know, if it's only one, that's the point.
The biggest thing
absolutely.
I would have to say to anybody out there listening is you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks they're alone when they have an illness or a disease, and they're not. There are so many support groups out there. Even if they just get on and blog, there are people out there to, talk
Help.
with. Working with a gentleman, and his wife just found out she has MS, and she's having a hard time adjusting. So it's good for him. Me and him talk during break time, because now he's going through what I've been through almost 3 times in my life.
Right.
And I just keep telling him, to tell his wife everything she's going through is normal for what she has.
Right.
You know?
And that don't
If you don't feel like doing it today, there's always
right,
tomorrow.
Always tomorrow. There's absolutely. And to stand strong and to just keep pushing forward.
That's it.
It
and
is.
be
It
blessed. And be
That's it.
blessed for
I mean,
every day that
everything
you're
that you
given.
have.
That's right.
There were days
Absolutely.
that he would get angry and yell and scream, "Why is this happening to me?"
No, I've never said, why is this
Yeah,
happening to me?
you have.
I would get very, very frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, that's
In that aspect, which I don't blame you.
typical.
I
It's
don't blame you at all.
I'm sorry, we're running out of time. We're going to have you back, because this is an amazing story that you're sharing with us and the viewers at home. Melissa, thank you very much for joining me again.
Absolutely.
And Tim and Lori, it was a pleasure to
Oh, it
have
was a
you on our
pleasure.
show, and we will definitely have you back.
Oh, great. That'd be great.
We'd like to thank you, viewers at home, for watching. As always, we wish you much love, peace, and respect. Till next time, remember, stand strong.